Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So in this one, we have another little exploit to cover. This one is for alliances and getting some bonus alliance points. So I had this pointed out to me by someone in the YouTube comments. I've heard other people talking about it on Discord too, so I figured I would bring it to people's attention. And for this one in specific, we're going to be kind of crowd testing this out because, so for context, I tested this exploit out, which essentially results in you getting to double up on redeeming bounty points. Now, this only works for your points for the Alliance, not your personal points, so keep that in mind. Basically, how this works is when you redeem all of your Alliance quests at once, if you redeem a new one from the board, your other two can come back and then be claimed again for more points without actually having to do them again. And this is fairly beneficial if you have some high point reward bounties. So you could use this to stack up a bunch of extra point rewards to get those higher tiers for your alliance a little bit easier. So I'm going to break down the steps on how this works, but I do want to give a disclaimer that I tried this out when the information was sent to me. It worked, it was cool. It wasn't 100% consistent. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, so it was a little finicky. But when I went to record footage for this video, I could not get it to work. I could not get it to work a single time. I saw someone else on YouTube actually posted about this glitch, but it flew a little bit under the radar. So I'm going to be putting up that footage here to show you an example of how this works. Also have a link to their video in the description below. Definitely recommend giving them support for sharing it with the community. And it was a very recently posted video, so I don't know if the thing just got hot fixed or if it's just still being very inconsistent but does still work. So I figured we as a community could put this to the test, have a bunch of people try it out and report back if they end up having success with getting the bounties to double up. So how do you do this? It's fairly simple. The instructions, I think, make it sound a little bit more complicated than it actually is. But basically, you need to get 2 big bounties. They don't have to be big bounties, but you're going to save yourself a lot of time if you get bounties with higher reward amounts. Then you want to grab one that is a lower amount, but very fast to complete. Once you have them all done, you want to go into the bounty interface and cash them all in, starting with the small bounty. Then go to the bounty board and select a new small bounty. You want to press the claim button on the bounty, and then while it's loading, click the bounty and then click claim again. This should cause an error to occur. Now, if everything went right, the second and third bounties should show back up on your bounty board completed. But make sure you do not claim them right away. Instead, go and do that new small bounty that you just claimed from the board, and then start the process over again from step 3, rinse and repeat to get a whole lot of extra rewards for your alliance. And as you can see in the footage there, it is pretty simple, but when I've tried it, it hasn't consistently worked anymore. It did work as of a few days ago, but I think it's possible they might have actually hotfixed this as well as some other stuff with alliances. I don't know if you've noticed, but over the weekend, alliances actually had their point value increase temporarily. Basically, they gave a 1.5 multiplier to all the points for each of the rewards. Some people noticed this and thought it was weird how some bounties had like 37 point rewards or ending in these odd numbers, but essentially it all boiled down to the previous values were multiplied 1.5 times. Which I think was a good decision because I think a lot of people are not fully completing their alliance stuff because it's just a bit too much of a grind for most players. However, looking back at it today, I haven't seen any of those increased point modifiers. So that's another thing that leads me to believe there was some kind of fix or change that was issued to alliances and then either rolled back or changed again. Hopefully this means they're actually going to implement a multiplier like that in the future, because I think right now alliances are just way too grindy, especially for the small rewards that they end up offering. They did make some improvements to alliances, one of which being they tweaked a lot of the do this mission with 2 cards things, which was good, getting like more sensible combos in there. However, no one's probably really noticed that because the past week with Jeff Week, they put Jeff as the second card in all of those missions, which I think was a fun thematic thing, but not a very fun thing for gameplay. Especially if you're someone who's newer or who just doesn't own Jeff for whatever reason, you essentially are locked out of all those bounties throughout this past week, which is pretty unfortunate. So yeah, I think there's a lot of work to be done with alliances. It's actually a feature I didn't expect to like, but did kind of like at first. Now I'm finding it to be a bit more grindy, so I hope they do something like we saw a few days ago, adding like a multiplier to the bounties to make them a little more reasonable. Or another thing I would really like them to do is to just increase the points you gain per cube. Right now, if you don't know, for every cube you gain, you get 2 points for your alliance bounties, but it is a very small amount compared to the amount you get from doing your bounties. And I get it, bounties are like the main driver of engagement for the mode. I understand why they want that to be the main thing people focus on for the most points, but it would be nice if people who just play the game regularly could actually help contribute to their alliance a bit more meaningfully. Yeah, that's all the news we have about alliances, some of the things that changed, this potential exploit. Let me know in the comments if you have been able to get this to work recently. I know myself and many others had success doing it a few days ago, but I haven't seen any updated reports on if it is still working. I've tried, it hasn't worked for me, but it was a little inconsistent before where it wasn't happening every single time. So it's possible I'm just getting unlucky with it. Hopefully we can come to a more reasonable conclusion with a bunch of you all testing it out. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think about alliances. Is it a feature you like? It's a feature you don't like? What are things you'd like to see improve with it? I'd love to hear it. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.